See, first things first, like stop smoking. There's nothing better than you can do for yourself to stop smoking.
No smoking.
Absolutely no smoking. There's no way. That should be absolutely. It's the same smokes. It's the same nicotine either way. And I'm told now, which was not when we were here, the drug menace has gone crazy into the whole youth especially, which could be a disaster as we go forward. That needs to be addressed right away. COVID did a menace too during the time COVID was there, because it creates more some clots वगैरह, तम से गई heart attack in थोड़ा सा increased level and a different mechanism of heart attacks because of those things. Doctor साहब से रब्त करने तुम ना closer association आइस, या चीज़ ना सुना से primary care, ऐसे ये doctors के साथ time easy बीमार गो मकलो heart attack गो या cancer उस पहले अगर पेशेंट वुचन अगर तुम हिस्ट्री हम सो वन तिथ कन के 1980s में उसमें लंग कैंसर 90s उसमें कोलन कैंसर पत 2000 prostate जनो जुकाम and one of the worst things is obviously now I know when that's from Google doctor so तत्ते तुम को Google पर अच्छी ये दवा मैं वो शे बखमगी आग डॉक्टर इसने खबर को दासल थे अगर तुम सुना सो नर्स ऐसी टेक्नीशियन ऐसी सो बिल्कुल हस्पताल को सफाई करने वाले is as important as CEO of the hospital because that is part of the whole team. तुम सुन जो best example दोनों बस उस कशीर ती थे किन काम करां इतने ये करां चुस कि सुबह नेरान 7 बजे पता 9-10 बजे कॉलेज पता प्रैक्टिस पता शाम 12 बजे घर वातान तो सुबह बे शुरू करां मगर कशीर उस बे करां ये पन्ने मर्जी ये में सिस्टम पकनावा ये में मशीन में काम करनावा.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Beyond the Headlines. I'm your host Nazir Garai. Today we have a very special guest who has done a remarkable work in the field of medicine. He is currently Director Vascular Medicine in Brooklyn, New York. Dr. Bilal Ahmed Malik. डॉक्टर साहब बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया और आज हम इनके बारे में इनके काम के बारे में और इनके रिसर्च के बारे में इस प्रोग्राम में बात करेंगे. Dr. Saab has also done some remarkable works back in US and इनकी जर्नी जो स्टार्ट होती है गवर्नमेंट मेडिकल कॉलेज से एंड और इनका जो आबाई इलाका है छोटा बाज़ार डाउनटाउन श्रीनगर वहाँ से लेके न्यूयॉर्क तक ये कैसे पहुँचे उसके बारे में इस प्रोग्राम में बात करेंगे. डॉक्टर साहब बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपने टाइम दिया.
It's a pleasure and thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure. You are talking to your own people especially.
Our sole aim for inviting doctors on this show is to educate people and also to tell their story to people how they have excelled in their own professions. आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया और आपने अपना सफ़र कहाँ से स्टार्ट किया उसके बारे में हमारे नाजरीन को बताएं एंड ये मेडिसिन और कार्डियो वेस्कुलर डिजीज़ में आप एक माहिर है उसके बारे में आप हमारे नाजरीन को बताएं.
Yeah, obviously, as you said, I grew up and started my life in downtown Srinagar, Chota Bazaar to be exact. And Tampad goes with schoolers, and the school which I'm very proud of, which unfortunately is not the same as it used to be, that's a national high school. And I graduated from there, and after that went to GMC Srinagar. And I am the batch of 1992-93. That's when I graduated from here. I did some work here, so internship, house job, वगैरह, and skims. After that, I went to US for my residency. I started 1996.
1996 में आपने GMC की बात की, लेकिन उससे पहले हम बात करते हैं कि छोटा बाज़ार से क्योंकि आपने ये भी कहा कि नेशनल स्कूल में आप पढ़ते थे एंड आई थिंक दैट हैज़ बीन द मोस्ट कम्पिटिटिव एनवायरनमेंट यू हैड एवर फेस्ड, तो उसके बारे में बताएं.
Well, मैं बोल ही नहीं सकता कि वो कितना competitive. I don't think I have ever faced that competitive nature ever in my life till now. We fought for every single mark in every monthly test, and which in the end helped all of us to do what we have to do and excel in our fields. And I can name tons of people who have done incredibly well for there, and it was the whole environment which pushed us, which at that time looked very toxic, but in the end, it probably paid off the benefits.
This is the question that I always ask to doctors on my show. How has been your association with government medical college? Like I spoke to a few doctors. They say it has had a remarkable impact on their education, overall education. If they are not in Kashmir, they are based in US or in UK. What is your impression about that?
See, Government Medical College, when we were there, was one of the top 5 institutions in the country, no question about that. The level of education, the amount of expertise available was world class. And now I see graduates from all the countries in the world, meaning US graduates, Caribbean graduates, Russian and other Indian, and colleges from India, which we're so proud of. Oh, AIMS se hai, CMC Vellore se hai. When we look at my class from GMC Srinagar, we are as good, if not better than any of them. And it is a very proud moment for all of us that most of us have, mashallah, done individually very well and collectively very well also, leading institutions all over the world, being top researchers. And Government College has been the base of that all.
So after you did your this course, MBBS, what after? What was your journey after that?
After that, obviously, you had to finish the regular internship and house job in medicine. Then I was in SKIMS for around 13 months doing the junior residency by the time I gave my USME leaves and stuff, and got into US residency programs. So I started from NASA University Medical Center, and Dr. Khan was the chairman. He's been very instrumental in helping lots of Kashmiris there, and there were a lot of people who, mashallah, everybody excelled in their own fields ever since. And finishing that, it was part of SUNY Stony Brook. I did cardiology and medicine there. After that, I did my interventional cardiology from Maimonides, Brooklyn, which I finished 2002, and ever since have stayed there for the last 20 years.
Now you are in the same center. You are the director vascular medicine, and a lot of Kashmiris must be coming to. A lot of Kashmiri, doctors must be coming to your hospital for trainings, for some research works. Tell us how is this link, getting strengthened?
Well, let me take you back that what in general we have done to begin with when we came, that everybody helped each other as basis of knowing each other. Somebody knew somebody. So, but then starting 2016, we started an organization by the name Kashmir. It's called Kashmiri American Society of Healthcare, Education and Research, which probably you might be aware of because we have done some work here. And since then, it's kind of organization of all the healthcare professionals in North America. And we obviously run multiple programs, have multiple disciplines involved. So research development mein ho, ya healthcare delivery mein ho, or helping people from this, training them how to do, getting them placed well, telling them how to prepare for USMLEs. This is again a part of the whole organizational work, which is, mashallah, now 7 years old and has well established, and it has an elected board, which is incredible.
So this organization also taking a lot of initiatives in Kashmir. And what are these initiatives?
See, the major initiative in Kashmir is a part of what's called Healthcare Delivery Committee. Okay. So the goal is to help raise the level of healthcare in this part of the world, because we are from here, we trained here, and we want to give back to community. As a process of that, I think you're aware of the EMS program. 5 districts of the state, we have an ambulance which is fully equipped with everything, and even EMTs, which is different than any other ambulance you have running on the streets. We have full EMTs running on them. Kashmir has associated with this, that you have a triage center where a doctor picks up the call, like anywhere else in the world. We have tried to replicate that, which really needs help of people here. And Kashmir's now healthcare delivery team, which has done incredible work.
Dr. Saab, Kashmir mostly हार्ट डिजीज दो खुदा बढ़ा हर एक चीज़ में हम देख रहे हैं कि कुछ इजाफा हो रहा है आपका इफ़ यू गो एंड सी सर्च इन कैंसर्स देयर आर टॉप 10 cancers starting from lung cancer, esophagus cancer, stomach cancer, then intestine cancers. It's going up simultaneously. I switch heart disease से बढ़ा आज क्या वजह है?
It's a global issue. It's not an issue related to Kashmir only. मगर ये शायद शुवन वारिया ज़्यादा. I think it's multiple issues which are related to it. One is overall situation here, which brings a lot of stress.
Okay.
Smoking, and I'm told now, which was not when we were here, the drug menace has gone crazy into the whole youth especially, which could be a disaster as we go forward. That needs to be addressed right away.
कुछ साथ यह खबर है कि फलाइन लड़को ये प्ले ग्राउंड्स में गिंदान तो अचानक गो हार्ट अटैक. What can be the issue for that? अख नफर युस अख लड़का खास कर नौजवान युस बिल्कुल गिंदान छु फील्डस में छु, so that means he is fine. Suddenly there must be some some undercurrents, no?
There are certain khas conditions which happens there on basketball court also, not just a football field here. Tim khas conditions asan even sudden death, especially younger ones gasan, especially agar when families and man sudden death asan. That's a condition commonly that's hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So asan patashan kansi asan unless these things happen. Agar khudan khas kansi young titkin sudden death gay, they should be screened. Their families should be screened because they don't have any genetic predilection to it. And baki drugs they can do that too. COVID did a menace too during the time COVID was there, because it creates more some clots vagera, tam se heart attack in thoda sa increased level, and a different mechanism of heart attacks because of those things.
So heart ailment se dukh da bada ante aur heart as saaf shafaf te healthy thaun khatar kya paje kis khas kar kis kashis karun.
See, first things first, like stop smoking. There's nothing better than you can do for yourself to stop smoking. No absolutely no smoking. There's no way. That should be absolutely. It's the same smoke. It's the same nicotine. Either way, stop smoking. Healthy lifestyle exercise. Come exercise karan. Son theek wazwan vagera. Especially the rice, carbohydrates. Sarni triglycerides high asan. So get checked up at regular times. Agar family history kan says them zyada thoda check up karan bakis ko nish, then he runs a higher risk. Diabetes should sari khud bud ak masla. Yemis the diabetes is them extra care nun. Check up karn khatra, diabetes controls must thaun khatra, stress test waqtas pet karan, baki cheez EKG wushun. Doctor sabse rabta karn tumnas closer association is. Yachnas one as primary care. Ashe the doctors gasan time easy bemar go moklo heart attack go ya cancer os pahlet. Magar Westis man shuna gasan ke manazan 40 years pet chu asa mammogram karun 5 hours pet colonoscopy karni I think prostate exam karun rule waqt asa. So that's when I'm primary care. Tamsit kya gasan cancer vagera gasan pick up very early. So it's very common कि अगर patient विशन अगर तुम history हम so when it can 1980s में उसमें lung cancer, 90s उसमें colon cancer, but 2000 में prostate zano zukam. Like it's a routine. He says it as a matter of fact. Zanni ki go. And that is only possible because it was picked up early.
Because of the screening.
No, it was picked up early. It was taken care of. As against here, God forbid, a diagnosis of a cancer is a death sentence. Because it's not that we are incapable of handling it. It's just because you should diagnose the time you should pahlu matasa. We symptoms time we agar tor tenun tait not kin. So that is the basic problem.
So early detection is important. Early screening is
totally important. You need to doctors number doctors
government setup system awareness kam tam pach doctors ke tim chi yawan kensan program pe baki cheez che magar am khadir kya paj karun doctors look an aware karne khadir ya look even jayan an khadir.
Obviously, social media is a huge presence today. Now, so TV is then, Facebook is then, Instagram is then, especially in the younger people, awareness is a bigger factor. You could imagine even Kashmir's organization, it's used to also the AMS program, I'm sure. It's not used as it should be because there is a free number. You get a free ambulance which has people in there, so AMT, so the treatment use. It's not a care vehicle. Magar look karani utilize because probably despite the best efforts, it's not percoled down deep enough. Hitim karan utilize somehow awareness in all other fields. You go Malikat. So cigarette everybody knows it has to be at multiple levels. But you set up to 2000. But timi gasan doctors to code gasan. Do we have capable centers of handling it? Manazan SMHS is overburdened, SORA is overburdened. There have तम कान नुस्ख दिवान वुश पत क्या गो पचम लट कंशन पत ही कि यत मज जरूरी छु आसान वेस्टस मज संस इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मेडिकल सिस्टम रिकॉर्ड्स कि एक आप सिस्टमस मज नफर तम सुन पता उस रिकॉर्ड कि तम स्मोकिंग हिस्ट्री क्या है फैमिली हिस्ट्री क्या है अगर तम सीएम लट ये टेस्ट उस देम लट क्या उस देयर इज नो रिकॉर्ड ऑफ इट ever left in any of the places. So there is no cohesive workup. So you should know कि कम तो को कहीं से blood pressure तम क्यों दवा तम इसको blood तुम्हारे रात पर मगो ठीक मौके वंशन में कहीं. That's not what's how it works. So diabetes, cholesterol, blood pressure ये बीमारी में ज़ात ठीक है. They're just part of it. You can control them, but they're not curable most of the times. Except अगर कहीं खास सूरत में आइस because of one reason or the other, that's different. But in general, these exactly.
There has to be management for such kind of disease.
Control and management, that is more important, and persistent follow-up, that's more important.
Now the kind of transition we have seen in Kashmir, I switch son life where it was very workaholic also. When sedentary lifestyle go और हमने भी वही प्रोसेस्ड खाना स्टार्ट किया. तो इसको लेके आपको क्या लगता है कि कैसा बीमारी में उसको ताइज़ाब गो इनसे?
You can obviously see, like, no, I don't think heart attacks and stuff were as common as now they are much more common because, as I said, multiple issues, so stress, smoking, lifestyle. Yeah, when you, as you know, so culture, different pizza, burger, वगैरह, that's also a part of it. Plus drugs in the younger people, I can't stress it enough because that is something which is going to kill our society, not just the person individually.
Is your organization doing anything for that?
Yes, Kashmir organization, they have the whole organization has a huge plan for that. When a Healthy Minds program, that's a health counselors. I think right now probably the organization has 8 health counselors counseling Karachi, and even in COVID, Kashmir had a number for free counseling for phone calls also. So they're doing a lot of work, the whole organization itself, and we have a robust help associations. That's then that program is association with help, and EMS is also in association with help. We're in other programs, Kashmir, Srinagar, Sushkaran with HPVT wale.
So, डॉक्टर साहब आपने कुछ ऐसे भी इनिशिएटिव्स यहाँ पे कश्मीर में लिए जहाँ पे यू आर नॉट जस्ट ओनली गोइंग इनटू द हेल्थ केयर सेक्टर बट यू आर आल्सो प्लानिंग टू डू सम बिगर कैनवस रोल्स, तो उसके बारे में बताएं.
In healthcare sector?
Healthcare sector.
See, in healthcare sector, it's what I say, it's a dream of every physician or probably anybody who has seen healthcare work in the West to practice healthcare to the same extent in this part of the world. And there have been multiple tries to establish that kind of system. Somehow or the other, it has not worked well, and it has not been established yet. Multiple failed attempts. We are trying our best to learn from them. And inshallah, I don't want to talk prematurely about those things, but there are initiatives in progress, which we have come a long way from last 15 years of work into it to establish something which hopefully very soon you'll hear that now. The goal of establishing a tertiary care center in this part of the world, which does not just work on tertiary care center and prevent it, but never gets patient primary care. It goes prevention goes now, so thera goes disease goes waqtas stress test goes waqtas cholesterol check gasun sugar check gasun tim cheez im kar rahe hain.
Doctor साहब अस वुचत कशीर में वारिया ज़्यादा सेल्फ मेडिकेशन तक गसान. सिंस आपने मेडिकल कॉलेज से यहाँ पढ़ा और आपने खुद एक ट्रांजिशन देखा, तो छू पदमो 3 वरियो पे यूएस में वनकन ब्रुकलिन्स में, and you must have seen in all these years, you must have come in, you must have seen that transition also happening in Kashmir, especially in healthcare sector. ये सेल्फ मेडिकेशन क्या है थी आप क्या वजह?
सेल्फ मेडिकेशन एवरीबडी हियर थिंक्स द डॉक्टर बह कर इत इलाज कि मेस मालिस हुमी दितमुत खे सुई दवा तमिस गो इलाज. इट्स नेचुरल एवरीवेयर. ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा पहन, एंड वन ऑफ द वर्स्ट थिंग्स ऑब्वियसली नाउ वन वन गूगल डॉक्टर सह तम कोर गूगलस पे दौद ये दवा मे वो बह खेम ये, एंड द प्रॉब्लम इज अवेलेबिलिटी. यू कैन गो टू फार्मेसी एंड बाय वट एवर यू वांट, which is not so in the West. I think name initiative asan ki pharmacy will din sirf dawa prescription pe tata istum now likhi tata istum exactly ki doctor can do the responsibility is once that gets more and more initiated. I think they are trying their best to opiates वगैरह shim nashwil dawa shi timshin divan, but it has to progress to other things too. So man is an richer masakurn hoitis those antibiotic hamha. It brings an antibiotic resistance. It brings other problems. Suos prevent gasun. So it's a matter of progress. I think systems are building gradually. Kim nai institution as an electronic medical records, pharmacy as an electronically collected to their doctors. I think it's in the pipeline of other institutions also, but inshallah the work which we will do will be based on that also ki youth goes na zahin tigasun.
So when you look at the private sector now coming up in Kashmir, how do you rate it?
See, private sectors mashallah, people get help. Let us look at positive part of it. Even if you pay money, people get helped. One private sector, how many people from here who are able to afford it or who are forced to sometimes get certain things are not available here. Timsh pewan Delhi gasun, Bombay gasun, garmas mas garat rahit, baki cheez karit. That's a bigger problem in the long direction. It has improved. There are obviously lots of like a nursing home. I was really happy to see a lot of other work without naming people. Nai hospital ch banan and nai recently bane even thoda sa level care, thoda sa expensive zarur chu, but everything comes at a price. The goal is ke care goes watun. And this notion that Amir youth never gasan is not true. Lots of people they sell their zameens and whatever to get treatment, and it's a tragedy that way. But anyway, progress there is on ground. I can see a lot of people. I yesterday saw a few hospitals. One of them is a charitable one of them is for profit, but it's going to be a world-class place. Inshallah, if they come up in next 6 months to 1 year, that'll be nice. Inshallah, the initiatives we will take will not inshallah be related to money. The goal is to provide health care and not expect that's probably use private insurance dunyas mein asan. So when it's related to making money, then it becomes little blurred. Okay, bottom line money asan, and once that's what I feel in general calling healthcare an industry is a shame, because it is an industry, but at the same time it's lives of people. It's a different world, and people who go into healthcare, if they go into it for making money, they probably are in the wrong profession. It's not the right profession for them, because there are so many other professions where you can make much more money much faster. Here, it's not so. Calling is different. If you want to be a nurse, it's a different way of life. If you want to be a doctor, it's a different way of life. And that has to be a recognition. So, man ke humsin ladka banyo doctor meanis ladka tishuyiga sunninga. I don't think that's fair. You should give, especially kids here, exact and person who is of that bent of mind, who wants to give back, who wants to serve, he should take it as a profession, not because it's just 5 crore kharch education, but 10 crore wapas aning. That probably may not be the rightest approach.
Nazreen, आज से मुलाकात करान Dr. Bilal Ahmed Malik, who is a world-renowned cardiologist right now in Brooklyn, New York. He has done path-breaking work in his field. MCNIS, Kaim Mutlik, in his researches Mutlik, the Indian initiatives Mutlik, Shais Azkat Karan. So Zara, you have been to Kashmir often with your parents. Now you're grown up and you're also into journalism.
Yeah.
How do you see this whole Kashmir story growing?
I actually got into journalism because of Kashmir. So just it worked out this way. Every time we came to visit, some big, event had happened, some big hartal had happened. I came in 2008, 2016, and 2019. So I've seen all sides. And then after 2016, I had to decide what I wanted to do with my life and what I wanted to do with my future. And I finally understood what was going on in Kashmir. And I really connected with my roots, hence why I wear the locket every day. Both me and my brother wear.
It's a map of Kashmir.
Yes, so I have this one and a bigger one. My brother and I wear it every single day religiously. So we just connected with what was going on, and I wanted to find a way to get the stories here to be shown in New York, because once I went back to New York, there was no conversation regarding Kashmir. So
Are you working on any Kashmir story right now?
right now I am. I'm working about construction and environment and how that the relationship here due to the new smart city being made and stuff like that. So I'm excited to be able to, live the dream I had wanted in 2016. So it's very full circle.
How do you see your father's work in Kashmir and back in US?
Well, I think it's very, humbling work, and he puts a lot of time and effort into it. I see it myself, weekends, late nights, and especially with the time difference, he's always up late on calls, trying to send papers and stuff like that. I see his work as very inspiring, and I'm very grateful to call him my dad and see him do all that he wanted to do. But it also inspires me to be able to continue giving back to Kashmir, because this is our home.
He calls you his first critic. Why is that?
Well, because, everyone sees him as, like this perfect version of himself, and they see him for his work, but I see him all around, and I need to make sure he stays in line, you know what I mean?
And you didn't want to become a doctor after seeing him?
No. I tried. Math and science were not for me, and I don't like the amount of energy and time it takes to even just start practicing. So I wanted to find something where I could get into the field and start working as soon as possible. I was more work-based than study-based.
It's been very good. I see a lot of, in fact, I have over the years done a lot of newer and better procedures also. And people here have been very graceful, and who have been my teachers and professors to let us do and kind of not teach, that now let them work with them. And they've been very grateful that way, and we've been able to take care of and learn together and show some newer things how we do it, and they've been very responsive. And so culture is I think that has come a long way too. People are very appreciative of the work, and people want to learn and go forward. That's a very positive thing, I think.
आपकी अपनी लाइन में आप कार्डियोवैस्कुलर डिजीज में कौन से नए ट्रेंड्स देखते हैं अगर आप हम फ्रॉम द रिसर्च पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू देखें?
यहाँ पे एक चीज़ है ना कि अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ थिंग्स इज गेटिंग बेटर, नो क्वेश्चन. इवन युस सेटअप ओस इवन उसने आसान हु चीज़ के ये चीज़ के नाउ दैट इज़ नॉट अ लिमिटेशन टू अ लार्ज एक्सटेंट. दे हैव ऑलमोस्ट एवरीथिंग, बारिंग अ वेरी फ्यू निच थिंग्स. They have most of the things available here. अगर इवन बाकी थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट मिले बे थोड़ा सा कार्डियोवैस्कुलर सर्जरी गसान इम्प्रूव प्राण निश अगर सह इम्प्रूव गि वी आर ऑलमोस्ट एज गुड एज एनीवेयर एल्स इन द वर्ल्ड. मगर बे ती करान कि इट्स नॉट अबाउट पीपल, इट्स नॉट अबाउट वन पर्सन डूइंग एनीथिंग, इट्स अबाउट द होल सिस्टम एंड सेटअप ग्रोइंग अप. सह डॉक्टर खबर कोता असल अगर तमिस सह नर्स आ टेक्नीशियन आ सह बिल्कुल हस्पताल सफाई कर वोल इज एज इम्पॉर्टेंट एज CEO of the hospital, because that is part of the whole team. That's not so famous cheese when JFK went to NASA. So janitor said them cut kare. So what are you doing here? No sir, I'm doing my job to put a man on the moon. Because that was his job in that whole process. So that's pride in work is very important. So if you don't have pride in work, at whatever level you are, it's wasting your time. So tami system goes badun ke sarni goes pasun ke we are part of it. At whatever level you are, it's basically one team. From CEO to janitor, it's one team. Everybody has his own set role.
Dr. Saab, talking about your work in US, आप वहाँ 1996 में जाते हैं, and how you started working there in US, just tell us something about that.
See, I quote somebody who was a physician, mashallah, who has been a professor here, South America. To America quote them residency at a later age, and them such best example. The one bas usus Kashmir ithe ken kaam karan, ithe ken yet karan chus. कि सुबह नेरान 7 बजे पत्त 9-10 बजे कॉलेज पत्त प्रैक्टिस पत्त शामन 12 बजे घर वातान तो सुबह बे शुरू करान मगर कशीर ओस बह करान ये पन्ने मर्जी ये में सिस्टम पकनावान ये मशीन में काम करनावान so you should know so it's a system is built in you are part of the machine like you go in and you kind of or become part of the whole system and start working this it's very conducive you know so machine hund purzag banan so it tami shu setup shu zaruri tami shu akna institution shu zaruri ya processing shu zaruri ki kitne kya gasan protocols asan so sorry pane gasan you know and everybody is obviously replaceable to is ne back mango pat kus ko cha mehnat kar it's thoda kam karan it's thoda zyada karan that is all the time and that's everywhere magar that is the best part of establishing institutions and system that you go in and you kill yourself you work hard and you will get rewarded that is the best part of that country it's like now that's why to shubushan ke most people yim sari dunya par tat gasan yim work karan tim excel karan ke iske tim opportunity milan
उनके छोटे जिस हॉस्पिटल में अभी इस वक्त आप काम कर रहे हैं आपने यहाँ से स्टार्ट किया बात करो अथ हॉस्पिटल में बनी होते डायरेक्टर वैस्कुलर मेडिसिन तो सो जर्नी तथ जर्नी मतलब सो दैट आवर डॉक्टर्स आल्सो गेट इंस्पायर्ड
So Garnish obviously from USMLE getting into residency is a big first step. Again, once you become a resident, that it can to Ushan Shahid various doctors, most of them in cardiology. As in program director sona ke autosomal dominant trait as I use customers cardiologist. Somehow it's kind of fancy look it's kind of somehow inbuilt in as look prefer karan you to cardiologist but not that it's any more important than any other things neurologist was probably the smartest guy and neurosurgeon was the smartest guy but other professions as nephrologists they are all equally important but there are a lot more Kashmiris who are cardiologists and especially interventional cardiologists than others and then there's the process once you become a resident in second year you kind of technically choose do you want to remain in just medicine or take a fellowship I luckily got into cardiology fellowship early and then after finishing cardiology fellowship then you have other choices ki tosha interventional cardiology karin EP karin yeah you stop there and become a general cardiologist I liked intervention probably from a very young age and luckily I had an opportunity at this Memandis medical centers with interventional fellowship karan khadra and then somehow I have been there ever since for last 20 years I can say it's not just me who has worked very hard everybody works very hard there and luckily by the grace of God even in this hospital for the last 15 years I have done the highest number of interventions by everybody the next person आज तमासन में खुद ज़ात रहत काम करनी and despite its owned community hospital
क्या शायद मतलब खास हो जाए
because
systems
no achna buchus aam tora koi cheez banan ke acha so the term is when your passion is your job then you are enjoying every day you're not working it's not a work anymore it has never been work for me it's been my passion all along and agar main 2 baj roz wanan cath lab gasun ya party gasun bu shayad gas cath lab preferably so that's how I am and that's probably why I do what I do
तो आपके सेंटर में आई वाज रीडिंग आपके सेंटर में फर्स्ट जो है ट्रांसप्लांट हार्ट ट्रांसप्लांट हुआ है यूएस में तो that means it's a very prestigious institution
yeah not many people know it but the first heart transplant used to America's must go दुनिया में second in fact as I said the South Africa's first transplant kom to so over विश्व आमन सो जैसे वापस South Africa the current transplant to be the first otherwise probably Memandis would have been the first to do it in the world anyway but anyway it is the first in US
patient survived
the first patient did not he died like right away but you see Memandis first transplant also is the first transplant in US and it's a great cardiac hospital that luckily we have the best statistics in the state of New York for in-house mortality, 30-day mortality and 1-year mortality better than any hospital in New York. And 2 years back we had the best status in acute MI care in the whole country in the US. So it's very well run, mashallah. It's a very closed system in a way, because once variab nebrim is bilkul service wali they were the only people who are operating, so that maintained very high standards, and we mashallah still do that. And that's been grace of God that I have had the opportunity to work there. And but areas mentioned, Brooklyn is a very cosmopolitan area. Yetini hospital issue Hasidic Jewish areas at and Sari culture. Chinese are a block away. A huge Bangladeshi population, huge Pakistani population, huge Arab population in Bay Ridge. So it's very cosmopolitan, and you get probably extra satisfaction. There are very simple people, the elderly females, when they feel somebody like them, they relate to him and they feel comfortable. That gives thoda sa even extra pleasure of working there. Sari, luckily Sari, it's from Hasidic Jewish to Europeans, to Pakistanis, to Indians, to Afghans, everywhere. A good part of New York, especially New York City, it's so cosmopolitan, which is even on the best part of New York. If you go to 10 nafar paka asan, you must 10 different languages, 10 different palo like it. It'll be, and nobody cares. You can wear a hijab and you can be half naked. Nobody even looks at you. So that is the best part of being in a big metropolis like New York. And no, everybody feels comfortable. Everybody feels this is their own. At the same hospitals?
No, generally panis.
See, luckily, we have a huge group of Kashmiri friends, and you missed in medical college there, school there, but the college ICA is a lot of them, and mashallah, they have all done incredibly well in their fields, very, very well. I think one good part is because it's really relevant. One of my best friends is a Kashmiri Pandit who I talk to almost every day of my life, even today.
This happens in US also.
Oh, this is part of everybody's life there now, and our kids are friends with each other too, and have grown up together, and we have never felt any difference.
So you carry that part of Kashmir together, like?
Oh, obviously, yes.
Kashmiri Muslim.
I don't think we have felt so, despite everything, that there is huge difference in it. We have remained friends forever, and hopefully will remain. And I strongly believe that we are one people in that sense. Kashmir is so sick, and even Kashmir organization is discuss that Amarjit Singh, he has basically is one of the bigger donors for Vision program. He's from Baramulla, and he wanted the Vision program to screen kids in a school visual defects asan. He is a main sponsor of that program, and he's a Kashmiri Sikh from Baramulla. So I don't think there's any difference, and everybody has the same aspirations in that sense. Most of us want this place, especially as related to healthcare. It goes healthcare to
So you have been coming to Kashmir, then you have been proposing a lot of things to the healthcare system here. Do you see any change on the ground over the years?
I think there's obvious change. You can see that is limited, hospital is limited, even nursing home to even is like dingy and small and limited. Now there are major chains coming in, there are this. I think overall it will help. Yes, you might have to spend more money. It will help and appraise the healthcare status, which looks a pretty obvious change from before. I hope it continues. I hope it's open. And I hope the initiatives we are looking at, they come to fruition also, inshallah, and that will change the whole scenario of healthcare in this part.
Kashmir has produced some of the finest doctors, not just in the country, but internationally also. How do you see this, this trend going even now? When you have deterioration in the medical college. Research is not done on that scale. I mean, you don't have, your tutors like you used to have earlier, but still there are some finest doctors around.
No question. See, I think it might sound a little racial to say that we are better than others. We may not be, but let us put it this way: we are at least as good, if not better than anybody else. There's no question. Which जैसे आपने mention किया कि ये पे use every student to never go to shine करें. And it's not just that, it's the environment which provides him that opportunity to shine. And they, mashallah, all have fertile brains. And if your brain and now your soul and heart is in the right direction, there's nothing stopping you. You'll do very well. Luckily, one of the whole initiatives is that you see Kashmiri brain drain astan. So Dr. Hindi isne baki, let them all come and collaborate and give back to this place so that we can uplift the healthcare of this place.
डॉक्टर साहब आखिर पे हमारे नाज़रीन को जो आपको देख रहे हैं और मोस्टली ऐसे लोग जिनको हार्ट एलिमेंट्स के बारे में या हार्ट इश्यूज़ के बारे में आपसे बहुत सारे सवालात होंगे, तो उनके लिए आपकी क्या मैसेज होगी और उनको क्या प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स लेने चाहिए, वो हमारे नाज़रीन को बताएं.
See, Gordoni's kacha atmosphere depressed gasno kankat, and mashallah, we have incredible physicians here. We have incredible capabilities, even physicians here. You munkis kam karanch in very difficult circumstances, and I my hats off to them, to salute to them to work in these hard conditions and provide the results they are doing. I have absolute faith in their capability. Agar timan system thoda base aadi, they can do much better. One so system kitkani provide karna, use bas na so terminal care yod dun ke. अगर इस फोकस करो मोर प्राइमरी केयरस पे ना प्रिवेंशनस पे कि यम बेमारी गस एटलीस्ट कंट्रोल यमस डायबिटीज छु तमस छु डायबिटीज मा बदल अगर सु कंट्रोल करे वक्तस पे डॉक्टर सबस गसे वक्तस पे कोलेस्ट्रॉल कंट्रोल करे बड़ कत में स्मोकिंग बंद करे अगर वन कस फैमिली हिस्ट्री छे अगर कौन खुदा न खास हार्ट अटैक गो he has a higher chance of having it. He should follow it more clearly. He's the dil harn masla ke shun tooth kata ke akh attack go ya khuda na khas bypass is not end of the road. It's just part of life. You just have to be able to agar tu follow up theek pat kari pan khayal theyu, I think it will be very, very nice. And bird for the youth, try and stay away from drugs, whatever it takes. It is going to ruin us. It's going to ruin our society. And we just cannot afford it. We have lost a lot and we are not ready to lose any more.
Definitely. Thank you so much, डॉक्टर साहब, आपने हमें टाइम दिया. और हम नाज़रीन को ये बताना चाहेंगे कि डॉक्टर बिलाल अहमद मलिक जो है ये इस वक्त न्यूयॉर्क में बेस्ड है एंड ही इज़ देयर फ्रॉम लास्ट मेनी ईयर्स एंड ही हैज़ डन सम पाथ ब्रेकिंग वर्क इन हिज फील्ड cardiology and interventional cardiology. His hospital is one of the first hospitals in the US which performed open heart surgery, heart transplant जिन्होंने किया था, and it became world's second hospital.